In the heart of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, stands a brick building, unassuming at first glance, yet steeped in historical significance: Independence Hall. This humble structure is a testament to a time of turmoil, transformation, and triumph. A time when 13 colonies dared to dream of a future free from the shackles of British rule. As we journey back to the mid-18th century, we discover a United States on the brink of revolution. In those days, dissatisfaction with British rule was simmering. The British Parliament's increasing control over colonial affairs, coupled with escalating taxes, was met with growing resentment. The colonists yearned for self-governance, for a voice in their own affairs, for independence. And so, the seeds of revolution were sown. Enter Independence Hall, then known as the Pennsylvania State House. It was here, in this very building, that the founding fathers of the United States convened. Gathered in the assembly room, figures such as George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson debated and strategized their collective vision of an independent nation taking shape. It was within these walls that the United States Declaration of Independence was meticulously drafted, and on the 4th day of July in 1776, officially adopted. The bold assertion that all men are created equal and endowed with inalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness was and remains revolutionary. But Independence Hall's historical significance didn't end there. 11 years later, the same hall bore witness to the creation of the United States Constitution, a document that continues to guide the nation's laws and principles. So Independence Hall is not just a building, it's a monument to the birth of a nation, a symbol of the courage, conviction, and vision of those who dared to dream of a new, democratic nation. So imagine if those walls could talk, they would tell tales of debates, decisions, and the birth of a new independent nation. The story of Independence Hall begins in 1732 with the laying of the first brick. In the heart of Philadelphia, construction of this iconic building first commenced. The design, inspired by Georgian architecture, was a nod to the English roots of the 13 colonies, featuring a red brick facade, a central bell tower, and symmetrical wings on either side. This architectural style, prevalent in the mid-18th century, was characterized by its proportion and balance, reflecting the ideals of order and symmetry. Originally, the building was intended to be the Pennsylvania State House, a place where local matters would be discussed and decided upon. However, its destiny was to be much grander. Inside Independence Hall, the assembly room holds a special place. This is where, against a backdrop of high ceilings and grand windows, the founding fathers gathered to debate, draft, and eventually sign two of the most significant documents in American history: the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. Imagine the scene. The room filled with the likes of Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, and John Adams. The air thick with the tension of revolution and the promise of a new nation. The wooden desks and chairs, now preserved as historical artifacts, once bore witness to the birth of a nation. The craftsmanship of the building is evident in every corner, from the hand-carved wooden moldings to the intricate detailing on the fireplaces. Despite the grandeur of its purpose, the building itself was relatively modest. Yet, it was within these walls, under these high arched ceilings, that the foundations of a new democratic republic were laid. The architecture of Independence Hall, though impressive, is not what makes it significant. Its true importance lies in the historical events that took place within its walls, events that shaped the United States as we know it today. While the building itself might seem modest, the events that transpired within its walls were anything but. In the sweltering summer of 1776, Independence Hall played host to a historic gathering, the Second Continental Congress. The delegates convened in Philadelphia, a city teeming with excitement and trepidation. The air was thick with anticipation as men from 13 colonies gathered, each bringing with them the hopes and fears of their people. The Congress had a monumental task on their hands, one that would change the face of history. The echoes of their debates and discussions still resonate in the hallowed halls of Independence Hall. The question on everyone's mind was this: should the colonies break away from British rule? The answer was not easily arrived at. There were fierce debates, passionate speeches, and at times heated disagreements. The crux of the Congress was the drafting of the Declaration of Independence. A five-man committee, including the likes of Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin, was tasked with crafting this historic document. Their words embodied the spirit of a nation yearning for freedom. They wrote of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, ideals that would form the bedrock of the new nation. The Declaration was more than just a document. It was a symbol of defiance, a statement of intent, and a beacon of hope. It was a message to the world that the colonies were ready to stand as a united, independent nation. But before it could serve its purpose, it needed to be approved by the Congress. After much discussion and debate, the moment of truth arrived. On July 4th, the Declaration of Independence was adopted. In the silence that followed the vote, one could almost hear the collective heartbeat of a nation on the cusp of birth. In this very room, 56 brave men put pen to parchment, marking the birth of the United States of America. 11 years later, in the same hallowed halls, another pivotal event unfolded, the drafting of the U.S. Constitution. In the heat of the summer of 1787, 55 delegates from 12 states gathered in Philadelphia's Independence Hall. Their mission was monumental: to revise the Articles of Confederation, the fledgling nation's first constitution, which had proven inadequate in governing a rapidly expanding country. For 4 months, these delegates, some of the most influential minds of their era, grappled with questions that went to the very heart of what it meant to be a nation. They debated the balance of power between the states and the federal government, the structure of the legislature, and the nature of executive authority. Yet, perhaps the most contentious issue was that of representation. Smaller states feared being overshadowed by their larger counterparts, leading to the Great Compromise, a bicameral legislature with the House of Representatives apportioned by population, and the Senate offering equal representation for all states. But the debates didn't stop at the structure of government. The framers wrestled with issues of individual rights and freedoms, leading to the promise of a Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. They also grappled with the paradox of a nation founded on liberty, yet mired in the moral quagmire of slavery. This led to the 3/5 Compromise, a regrettable concession to the era's societal norms that would take another 78 years and a civil war to rectify. Through these debates and compromises, the framers crafted a document that was far from perfect, but one that embodied the ideals of a nation striving towards a more perfect union. It was a living document designed to evolve with the nation, capable of amendment and interpretation as the country grew and changed. With the signing of the Constitution, Independence Hall cemented its place in history, not just as the birthplace of a nation, but as the cradle of its guiding principles. Today, Independence Hall stands not just as a monument to the past, but as a beacon for the future. A testament to this is the meticulous preservation of this historic structure, safeguarding its unique Georgian architecture and the stories it holds within its walls. Over the years, dedicated teams of conservators, historians, and architects have worked tirelessly to maintain the integrity of Independence Hall, ensuring that it remains as grand and inspiring as it was in the 18th century. This commitment to preserving Independence Hall has not gone unnoticed. In 1979, it was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, an accolade bestowed upon places of exceptional cultural or natural importance. This recognition places Independence Hall alongside awe-inspiring landmarks such as the Pyramids of Egypt and the Great Wall of China, underlining its global significance as a symbol of freedom and democracy. But the life of Independence Hall extends far beyond its historical significance. It breathes with the pulse of the present, serving as a vibrant venue for modern-day celebrations and political events. Each year on the 4th of July, people gather here to celebrate the birth of the nation, their joy echoing through the same halls where the Declaration of Independence was adopted. When the Liberty Bell rings, it's not just a reminder of the past, but a call to action for the present and the future. Political leaders and activists have often chosen Independence Hall as the backdrop for their speeches, drawing strength from its history. The echoes of the Founding Fathers' debates blend with modern voices advocating for change, creating a powerful symphony of progress. Independence Hall is not just a relic of the past, but a living testament to the ongoing journey of democracy. It stands as a symbol of the ideals that this nation was built upon and the ongoing quest to realize them. As we walk the halls of this historic site, we're not just stepping into the past, we're carrying its legacy into the future.